win for the Dolphins, winning by 22 points over the South Sydney Rabbitohs. This is their third straight win. With this win, they move into sixth position on the ladder, so into the top 8, solidifying their spot there, finding some form now mid-season after a slow start to the year for the Bunnies. They were far from their best tonight. Latrell Mitchell going off early with an injury. We'll touch on that a little later and we'll check how severe that injury is heading into Origin and selections on Monday, but it's all about the Dolphins, Mick.
Yeah, superb win for the Dolphins. They really set it up in the first half, 20-0 at half-time. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, losing Cody Nikorima just disrupted their attack that was really coming together, particularly at that second half of the first half. Him and Isaiya Katoa really started to dictate terms with field position and possession. Farnworth was great. I thought Bostock did a really good job tonight, as did Jermaine Asako, in shutting down that left-hand attack of that man there, Latrell Mitchell, and Cody Walker, that really frustrated them tonight. When it dried up in the second half, there was plenty of rain around the first half. When it dried up, South started to stop the errors, started to find some cracks in the Dolphins' defence, but in the end, just a comprehensive win from the Dolphins side that's forced themselves into the 8 now, Brandy.
No doubt that South's had their moments in that second half, and at 24-10 there was still some time on the clock, and you thought, well, if they can do something pretty quickly, it just might turn around. But the Dolphins were clearly the best side tonight. 20-0 at half-time, as Mick said, set up with that first half performance.
How did you see it, Shaun?
Yeah, I thought Dolphins were clinical in the wet. I thought they were just far more direct, tighter with their plays. South's still playing sideline to sideline in the wet, becoming a little bit predictable, I thought. So I was really impressed with actually Max Plath. And I thought Gilbert off the bench was super impressive. So in nights like tonight, when the drizzle starts to come, the ball gets a little bit slippery, players like that go after the contest certainly help your side.
All right, let's have a look at the Harvey Norman full-time highlights, Mick, and it was a very dominant display from the Dolphins, who got off to an absolute flyer.
Yeah, South Sydney, these pictures don't tell the story. South's actually created some really good opportunities early. That left-hand side, Walker and Mitchell created some chances, as did Talistunka. They didn't capitalise. South then gave the Dolphins a big block of possession down their line, and Shaun just touched on. So, yeah, guys like Max Plath, Tom Gilbert, I thought Knowles was good through the middle. In fact, I thought their whole back row, Fini Fuiaki and Lemuelu, both strong tonight as well, created some chances, Brandy, and in the end, they were very comprehensive, 20-0. And then it took a little while, but it was Bostock that scored their first try of the second half.
They struggled a bit the second half, the Dolphins, but again, they were the dominant side. They scored a couple of, and this is, South Sydney. We know what they can do. South Sydney, we just didn't see enough of it. Latrell pushing the ball out there for a try in the corner, and then I like him, Ashton Ward. The more I see of Ashton Ward, the more I like him. He played on a losing side tonight, but Hammer finally got a try with a typical Hammer run. You don't get a second chance at Hammer. If you don't get him early, that's it. You don't catch him.
Yeah, it's alarm bells on the edge every time. Previewing this bloke was a nightmare. Honestly, you're getting up, you feel like you're on an island every time, just with his speed. He can beat you just so cleanly, and it's actually nice to see him in some open space.
What about Isaiya Katoa? Now, he is a player, and I'll come to you on this, SJ. Now, he's not in calculations now for Origin, but the way he's playing, and with the years ahead of him and maturity and experience, he's got to be a rep player. He's got to be a New South Wales player at some point.
You summed it up there. Like, with the years ahead of him. Now, we see a bloke in Cody Walker on the other side, and the way he conducted himself at the back end of that game. And you got this young kid. How old is he? Is he 22 yet? I'm not too sure. He's honestly early 20s. He's playing with a cool, calm, collected head. I thought he was literally the difference, in particular in that first half with his kicking game. Looking to kick early, set the tone for his side and saying, look, boys, bit wet now. Let's just back our defence. Let's put them in pockets that we know they're going to struggle to come out of. And then the cream, boys. This is the stuff I got a little excited with when Mick was talking through the highlights. The subtlety and pass, the sleight of hand. Cody Nikorima out the back of him, and the combination they have, it came to the forefront, but through the work of Isaiya Katoa holding up the footy and giving his outside men a space. I spoke to him in the pre-game. And he spoke around just trying to find his outside men a slight advantage, and I thought he did that tonight.
Shaun, you've been in that similar situation at a young age where guys like yourself and Benji, do these highlight moments that we quickly get captivated by that as commentators, and that then becomes the narrative around your performance. But the Braith said the maturity, and you just mentioned, his composure and his control and his calmness of the footy side. how hard is that to get the balance right when you feel like all you get celebrated for is like, so for Katoa at the moment, it's that change of pace and that little bit of ball playing.
Yeah.
But it was the other subtleties tonight of him controlling the game in the wet. How hard is that to be able to flick that switch?
Oh, extremely hard. You don't want to be known as a highlight player, I'll tell you that, because then you're expected to do it every week, and if you don't do it, that's all people expect, right? But to Izzy's point, yeah, he started with the tempo, but other elements of his game, and the way, even defensively, his contact, his first up contact on that edge, super impressive. But the way he got the boys around the park, I guess we've got a beautiful view from up here, you know, and you can see the whole field in its entirety. So watching his movements, watching how he's just methodical with his movements and conserving energy, it truly is impressive, and it's a true appreciation for a gun 7 who's going to have a really good
Brandy,
future.
can I ask you, like, you spent so much time with Nathan.
Yep.
And Nathan's the best halfback in the game for so many reasons. When you see Nathan prepare and when you see Nathan train and you see the way that he manages moments and you've lived that with him, like, is Katoa on that trajectory?
Yeah, he is. Well, I think there's a similar temperament with Isaiya and Nathan. You know, one of the best things about Nathan is his ability to handle pressure.
Yep.
You know, and Cameron Smith.
Yep.
You know, we've spoken about him. What he does in the middle of the ruck. You know, the chaos around the middle of the ruck, and Cameron Smith's pulse wouldn't get over 60. Nathan's very similar. Doesn't seem to panic, and that's Isaiya. Isaiya is such a mature footballer is he 22? Like he might. You know, like I know he's in his fourth season now, or fifth season. Like, but. And I think the Dolphins were slow to start this year, and I think Isaiya was, you know, it affected him. But in the last 3 wins that they've had, and even the 2 losses before that, where they just went down to Penrith, you know, Isaiya was very good. But there is a lot of similarities in the way they approach things. You know, there's none better than Nathan in a pressure moment. But Isaiya is quickly learning to be that.
The big thing I know, I watched really closely tonight. We got a great view here of the 4 halves that played tonight. I think the best way to sum up where Katoa was tonight and the difference that he was not what he did, it was what he didn't do. It was what he didn't do. Because I saw a couple of times tonight where opposition or other halves forced things in the conditions or chased and went searching for things. And it was moments, I thought, where he held himself back at different stages and just kicked into a corner or just serviced some outside men or ran the footy rather than put outside men under pressure. I thought his balance was superb tonight.
Plenty of composure, cool, calm and collected beyond his years. What a game it was from Isaiya Katoa. We're going to get to a break after. We're going to cover so much more.